everyone, my name is Bañares and our topic in chapter 4 is all about the strengths and weaknesses of the Filipino character, a socio-cultural issue. So we all know that schools are there for society. Their relevance is proven by their ability to address socio-cultural problems, and there are so many number of social issues and problems that schools should help address. But now, let us focus on the weaknesses of the Filipino character. Right now, I will discuss to you what are the weaknesses of the Filipino character as cited of the report of a moral recovery program, Building a People, Building a Nation. So first is the extreme family-centeredness, and it means that using one's office and power to promote family interest, factionalism, patronage, and political dynasties. So for example of this is a community project that may be awarded by government official to his family member or relative because it will profit this person. Second is the extreme personalism that they take the relationships with others in a personal way. For instance, when they attend to business or official matters, they seek the help of someone they know who has influence to make things easier for them. This illustrates the palakasan system to have things done in short period of time because one knows a powerful person. Other uses personal contacts and gives to family and friends in hiring, services, and even voting. Third is the lack of discipline, and most of us are aware of what is this. So lack of discipline simply means disregard and disobey rules and procedures and hope they cannot get caught, which oftentimes they could. So it is also manifested by the attitude towards time. Filipino time or never on time. And also impatience result in shortcuts, palusot ningas kugon. That's why lack of discipline often result to inefficient work systems, the violation of rules, and a casual work ethic lacking follow-through. Fourth is the passivity and lack of initiative. A ningas kugon mentality and their interests die very quickly. Example is that the start on the project with great attention but midway lost interest in it and leave it unfinished. Sometimes they do not perform a task unless are asked or told to do so. They also rely on the leaders and government to do things for them. There is a high tolerance of inefficient, poor service, and even violations of one's basic right. The Filipino is easily oppressed and exploited. And the next 4 weaknesses of the Filipino character will be reported by Miss Anna. Thank you and God bless everyone!
Hi everyone, my name is Ana Marie Regañon and I'm about to continue the report of Miss Bañares. Without any further ado, let's get started. For the number 5, colonial mentality. Filipinos have a colonial mentality which is made up of 2 dimensions. The first is lack of patriotism or an active awareness, appreciation, and love of the Philippines. The second is an actual preference for foreign things. So, Filipino culture is characterized by an openness to the output side, adapting and incorporating the foreign elements into our image of ourselves. And yet, this image is not built around a deep core of the Philippines' history and knowledge. So the result is cultural or weakness that makes Filipinos extraordinary susceptible to the wholesale acceptance of modern mass culture which often Western. Thus, there is preference for foreign fashion, entertainment, lifestyle, technology, and consumer items. So, what is colonial mentality? So, by the definition, it is a form of internalized oppression that conditions colonized people to believe that their ethnic or cultural identity is inferior to Western culture or whiteness. So, when we say inferior, it is a person lower than another in rank, status, or ability. Therefore, they live their lives striving to be westernized and learning to hate their indigenous roots. Another definition is that it involves uncritical rejection of anything Filipino and uncritical preference for anything American. Am I clear? Thank you. Okay, let's proceed to the number 6, the Kanya-Kanya syndrome or Talangka mentality. Filipinos have a selfish, self-serving attitude that generates a feeling of envy and competitiveness towards others, particularly one's peer who seem to have gained some status. Towards them, the Filipino demonstrates that so-called grab mentality, referring to the tendency of crabs in a basket to pull each other down. So using the leveling instruments of chismis, intriga, and constructive criticism to bring others down. So there seems to be basic assumption that others gain is one's loss rather. So the Kanya-Kanya syndrome is also evident in the personal ambition and the drive for power and status that is completely insensitive to the common good. So personal and in-group interests reign supreme. This characteristics is also evident in the lack of a sense of service among people in the government bureaucracy. So the public is made feel that service from these offices and from these civil servants is an extra perk that has to be paid for. So in addition, the Talangka mentality is also called grab mentality. Simply refers to a person's behavior of undermining. So anyone who succeeds or shows potential for success greater than their own. So let's proceed to the number 7, the lack of self-analysis and self-reflection. So the tendency to be superficial and somewhat flighty in the face of serious personal and social problems, there is lack of analysis or reflection, and instead satisfaction with superficial explanations and solutions. So what does lack of self-analysis and self-reflection mean? So okay, let's find out. So without self-reflection, we simply go through life without thinking, moving from one thing to the next without making time to evaluate whether things are actually going well. We don't pause to think, or a lack of reflection causes us to simply keep running, trying to keep up with things even if things aren't going well. So in addition, self-reflection is important for self-improvement in view of the fact that self-reflection is the key to self-awareness. Always remember that. So it allows us to look neutrally at our thoughts, feelings, emotions, and actions. So through this practice, we are able to look at ourselves with interest and curiosity. Did you get me? Thank you. And now let's proceed to the number 8, the last number, the emphasis on form rather than substance. So this lack of analysis and emphasis on form is reinforced by an educational system that is more form than substance. So we Filipino emphasize form rather than substance because we are just looking at the outer point of someone or something rather than looking at the inner point of someone. So in addition, related to this is the Filipino emphasis on form rather than on substance. There is a tendency to be satisfied with rhetoric and to substitute this for reality. So empty rhetoric and endless words are very much part of public life. As long as the right things are said, as long as the proper documents and reports exist, as long are deluded into believing that what ought to be actually exist. Well, these weaknesses are rooted in many factors: the home, social and economic environment, culture and language, history, religion, educational system, mass media, leadership, and role models. Change is possible, however, and the following goals are proposed to develop in the Filipino. First is a sense of patriotism and national pride. The second one is a sense of a common good. The third one is a sense of integrity and accountability. The fourth one is the values and habits of discipline and hard work. Number 5 is the value and habits of self-reflection and analysis, the internalization of spiritual values, and the emphasis on essence rather than a form. Am I clear? And for now, let's proceed to the next reporter. Thank you so much for listening. God bless.
Good morning, everyone. I am Erica May M. Magdalera, and I am going to discuss the Filipino character, strengths, and weaknesses. The Filipino character, strengths, and weaknesses. In 1998, Senator Leticia submitted to the Senate this report entitled A Moral Recovery Program, Building a People, Building a Nation. The moral recovery programs will primarily aim to inculcate the following virtues for national development: pride in being Filipino, caring and sharing, integrity and accountability, self-reliance, good manners and right conduct, which shall also cover the value and habits of courtesy, discipline and respect for authority and institutions, people empowerment and self-reflection and analysis. The report cites the strengths of the Filipino are: first is pakikipagkapwa-tao. Second is family orientation. The third one is joy and humor. Number 4, flexibility, adaptability, and creativity. The fifth one is hard work and industry. 6, faith and religiosity. 7 is ability to survive. Number 1 strength of Filipinos is pakikipagkapwa-tao. To Filipinos, pakikisama o pakikipagkapwa is a very important trait. Pakikisama is the ability of a person to get along with others to maintain good and harmonious relationships. It implies camaraderie and togetherness in a group and the cause of one's being socially accepted. Examples are basic sense of justice and fairness, concern for others, ability to empathize with others, helpfulness and generosity in times of need, and practice of bayanihan or mutual assistance. And last but not the least is Filipino hospitality. The second strength of Filipinos is family orientation. Filipinos possess a genuine and deep love for family. Filipinos are known for having strong and close family ties. They place high regard and put importance on their family before anything else. They work all day and do all they can to feed for their family. Example is honor and respect. The English translation of paggalang means to be respectful or to give respect to a person. The third strength of Filipino are joy and humor. Filipinos have a cheerful and fun-loving approach to life and its up and down pleasant disposition. A sense of humor and propensity for happiness what contribute not only to the Filipino charm but also to the Filipino spirit. We laugh at those we love and hate. We tend to make joke about our good and even bad fortune. To smile even in the most trying of times. It sheds light on the optimism and positivity of Filipinos in whatever situation they are, and so as to remain determined in going through struggles or challenges. The fourth strength of Filipino is flexibility, adaptability, and creativity. It is a strength that allows us to adjust to any set of circumstances and to make the best of the situation. But this ability to play things by ear leads us to compromise on the precision and discipline necessary to accomplish many work-oriented goals. The fifth one is hard work and industry. It is the capacity for hard work given to raise one's standard living of a decent life for one's family. With resourcefulness comes hard work. Filipinos are very determined and persevering in accomplishing whatever they set their minds to. Filipinos over the years have proven time and time again that they are a people with an industrious attitude. This is seen by others as Filipinos being only useful as domestic helpers, working abroad to help their families in the country. This is also present in the country's workforce, particularly the farmers. We Filipinos are proud of our values and heritage. The sixth one is faith and religiosity. Our faith in God and our religiosity are sources of strength and courage, but they also lead to an external orientation that keeps us passive and dependent on forces outside ourselves. The Filipinos are one of the most faithful people in the world. Whatever the religion is, we remain faithful and we don't lose hope for a better tomorrow. Our faithfulness and hopefulness keep us kind, positive, peaceful, and determined to achieve our goals, no matter how impossible they may seem. And the last one is ability to survive. Filipinos have an ability to survive which is manifested in our capacity for endurance, despite difficult times in our ability to get by on so very little. Filipinos make do with what is available in the environment. That's all. Thank you everyone and keep safe.
Hi everyone, my name is Romuar, and this time I am about to explain the Filipino character weaknesses. Number 1. Extreme family-centeredness. This means excessive concern for family needs using one's office and power to promote family interests and thus factionalism, patronage, political dynasties, and protection of the erring family members. Sometimes families become too clannish. For example, a community project may be awarded by government official to his family member or relative because it will profit this person. It results in lack of concern for the common good and acts as a block to national consciousness. Number 2. Extreme personalism. Meaning of this, it is always trying to give personal interpretation to actions. Some overdo pakikipagkapwa-tao. They take their relationships with others in a personal way. For instance, when they attend to business or official matters, they seek the help of someone they know who has influence to make things easier for them. This illustrates the palakasan system to have things done in short period of time because one knows a powerful person. 3. Lack of discipline. This means disregard and disobey rules and procedures and hope they cannot get caught, which oftentimes they could. Example of this is violation or of traffic rules, wherein crossing to the other end is prohibited, yet they still do it because they don't want to take the overpass. Many times they take shortcuts or palusot system. It is also manifested by the attitude towards time, Filipino time, or never on time. Number 4. Passivity and lack of initiative. This means niñas pugod mentality. Their interests die quickly. Example, they start on a project with zeal and great attention but midway lose interest in it and leave it unfinished. Sometimes they do not perform a task unless are asked or told to do so. They also rely on the leaders and government to do things for them. It is too patient and matiisin, too easily resigned to his fate. The Filipino is easily oppressed and exploited. Number 5. Colonial mentality. It is lack of patriotism or of an active awareness, appreciation, and love of the Philippines and an actual preference for things foreign. This means they love everything important, believing that foreigners are better than them. Foreign-made items are better and even foreign languages are better. They
They often imitate foreigners' fashion and way of life. It is also right to appreciate the talents of foreign people and the good aspects of other people or other cultures. But it is not correct to look down on local Filipino talents and abilities because there are things that they do better than the foreigners. Kanya-kanya syndrome. Lack of self-analysis and self-reflection. The tendency to be superficial or somewhat flighty. It means while they are proud of their sense of humor, they sometimes forget that there are things that should be taken seriously. When things went wrong, they are more willing to blame others rather than asking what they did wrong. Lastly, emphasis on forma rather than substance. This lack of analysis and emphasis on form is reinforced by an educational system that is more than substance.
Hello, good morning everybody. So let's continue our report. The strength and weaknesses of the Filipino character is socio-cultural issues. Value education in school. Senator Shahani's report was given in 1988, but its finding as reported may still be true story. The Department of Education has its vision to help develop. Do you know that Leticia Ramos Shahani, known as Letty, made a name for herself in diplomacy and politics and championed culture and women's rights? Wow! Filipinos who passionately love their country and whose values and competencies enable them to realize their full potential and contribute meaningfully to building the nations. It has its core values. So first, we have makadiyos. Second, we have makatao. Third, we have makakalikasan. The last one is makabansa. So this can be an uphill battle for Philippine schools to realize this, considering the first we have the extreme family centeredness. So the concern for the family is one of the Filipinos' greatest strength. In the extreme, it becomes a serious flaw. It results in lack of concern for the common good, and it can act a block to national consciousness. So second, we have extreme personalism. Filipinos have a personalistic world view. It means that there is no separation between an object task and emotional involvement. So because of this, Filipinos have difficulty dealing with all forms of impersonal activities. So next we have number 3, lack of discipline. The Filipinos' lack of discipline comes in different form, namely. So first we lack patience and are unable to identify gratification or rewards, resulting in the use of shortcuts. It's circuiting the rules as in palusot syndrome. So second, we have a relaxed attitude toward time, which manifests lack of precision. So these negative traits often leads to wasteful work system, violation of rules, inefficiency, and lack of commitment. So next we have passivity and lack of initiative. We tend to show strong reliance on other like government and other leaders to do things for us. We also tend to show submissiveness to those in authority and do not raise issues or to question decisions. Thus, we are oppressed and exploited. So they tend to show no sense of urgency about any problem. Sometimes we are simply complacent. So next, we have colonial mentality. Filipinos manifest colonial mentality in two dimensions. So first, we have lack of patriotism or unactive awareness, appreciation and love for the Philippines. Second, actual preference for things that are foreign. So next, we have kanya-kanya syndrome. These traits refers to the selfish, self-serving attitudes that generates a feeling of envy and competitiveness towards others, particularly one's peers who seems to have gained some status or prestige. Next, number 7, we have lack of self-analysis and self-reflection. We Filipinos have a tendency to have a flighty and to manifest superficial personality. This means that it times to problems. We tend not to be serious in looking deeper into the problems. We tend a lack of analysis and reflection. So last, we have emphasis on forma rather than substance. This lack of analysis and emphasis on form is reinforced by an educational system that is more form than substance, so that it will not be more form than substance as described in Senator Shahani's report. Philippine schools have to intensify values education in the curriculum. In fact, in response to this report, values education now edukasyon sa pagpapakatao in K-12 curriculum was introduced as the separate subject in the basic education curriculum under the Values Education Framework program of Dr. Lourdes Quisombing. Then the Department of Education Framework was conceptualized in 1987. So that is our report. Thank you very much. Bye.